There's so many places to explore and to just find yourself back in nature, and it doesn't take very long to get out here.
Springing to life in the hills east of Mount Diablo, Marsh Creek flows through eastern Contra Costa County, connecting the high country to the Delta, the past to the future, and every one of us to our natural and historic heritage.
We're literally reassembling a huge park and wilderness here on the east side of Mount Diablo, all the way out to the Central Valley.
The reason why Marsh Creek's important is that we are doing protection, we're doing restoration, and it's also a laboratory for people that are trying to figure out how to protect our delta and how to protect our watersheds.
These are the headwaters of Marsh Creek, one of the longest and increasingly protected waterways in Contra Costa County. And it's the starting place for a journey we'll take from this spot, 33 miles down the watershed, all the way to the Delta. Now, along the way, we'll visit a growing necklace of protected parks and open spaces, a landmark of California's past, and be dedicated citizens of all ages, working hard to create a bright future for all of us and Marsh Creek.
Yeah, this is an incredible area on the east side of Mount Diablo, what Jeremiah Morgan called the morning side of the mountain.
We begin our Marsh Creek sojourn high in the East Bay Regional Park District's Morgan Territory Regional Preserve. Diane Burgess, Executive Director of Friends of Marsh Creek, and Seth Adams, Director of Land Conservation for Save Mount Diablo, guide me to view a largely preserved landscape nearly as far as the eye can see.
So from Marsh Creek and Morgan Territory roads, you could access dozens of regional and parks, state parks, other kinds of open spaces.
Wow. So in other words, this whole area that we're kind of looking at here, I mean, that'd be right behind us. So much, it looks like protected land. This is one of the biggest areas of protected land in the Bay Area.
It is.
In recent decades, the conservation partners have protected more than 100,000 acres around Marsh Creek and in eastern Contra Costa County, and the number is growing, providing public access to everyone, preserving ranch lands and sanctuaries for wildlife.
The vision is not just salmon and steelhead returning up Marsh Creek to the east side of Mount Diablo. The vision is California condors and tule elk and pronghorn in this landscape we've been reassembling.
As we follow the Marsh Creek watershed downhill and downstream, we pass by a collage of protected landscapes, opening to views of the Marsh Creek Reservoir, with Mount Diablo looming majestically in the west, and the historic John Marsh House at our feet to the east. Once a lonely frontier outpost, it's now a state park, perched on the border of yesterday and tomorrow. So we have been looking at some beautiful natural world and wild kingdoms, and now we're at a place where human history on Marsh Creek goes back a long time, yes?
It does. It goes back about 7,000 years, right in this very spot along the creek here where people have been living since before the pyramids.
Rick Lemire is Executive Director of the John Marsh Historic Trust, a nonprofit organization working with California state parks to preserve history here and the memory of the creek's namesake, John Marsh.
He's probably one of the most impactful pioneers in California that nobody knows anything about.
After graduating from Harvard, John Marsh arrived here in 1838. He was the first Anglo and doctor to live in what became Contra Costa County, and he helped open the region to settlement.
And the California Trail, historic, ended right here at Marsh's house.
This was the end of the line if you were coming to California?
The 32 men, 1 woman, and a 1-year-old baby walked 2,000 miles to get here.
To this very spot.
This exact spot.
Millennia before John Marsh arrived, native tribes flourished along this creek, and recent excavations have revealed a rich and artistic culture. The parklands and the John Marsh House are currently closed to the public, being restored so they can welcome us all someday soon to learn how the creek has long nurtured those who have gathered by its banks.
For now, we want to make sure that people can enjoy the history and come in and see the house and see the creek and see the archaeology.
Downstream from the John Marsh House, surrounded by bustling communities, it's the creek itself that needs nurturing. Fortunately, energetic and enthusiastic students from nearby Independence High School are lending a hand, clearing obstacles from a fish ladder so endangered coho salmon and steelhead trout can migrate upstream.
They're learning about water quality, they're learning about restoration, they're learning about pollution prevention, water conservation.
And they're also becoming stewards of their backyard.
They're
Marsh
becoming
Creek.
environmental stewards.
Their stewardship, and that of everyone we've met on our journey, is critical to the health of the creek as it flows from its headwaters in the highlands, through its historic landscapes and newest neighborhoods, to its rendezvous and ours, with the Delta at East Bay Park's Big Break Regional Shoreline in Oakley. But what a different world. I mean, that this 33-mile creek connects these incredibly different worlds and brings them together.
Well, not only the natural world, but the people. You got to meet the environmental people, you got to meet the historic people, education. All of us are working together to protect our creek, and we love our creek, and I'm so glad we got to share it with you.
To find out more about Marsh Creek and all the places we visited and organizations we encountered on our trip, go to NBCBayArea.com/OpenRoad.